Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to officially call this meeting of the mayor and council to order. Before we start, I just want to say it's always our pleasure to see so many young people interested in government. This is wonderful, so we love it. So at this time, I'm going to ask for everyone to please stand for a moment of silent prayer and or reflection as we think about the state of Michigan. They had some pretty bad tornadoes recently. 2 people were killed, and they're looking for others. Please salute the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to advance notice of and attend any meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with this act, the mayor and council of the borough of New Milford have caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted in the borough hall, and notices have been sent to the Record and the Ridgewood News. The mission of this governing body is to provide essential services through the establishment and implementation of public policy that will safeguard the infrastructure, provide fair, honest, courteous, and professional services, establish a sense of trust and accomplishment between all residents, and through research and prudent planning, seek to minimize risk while improving our services. We are sensitive to the needs and satisfaction of our taxpayers, while realizing that this governing body cannot be all things to all people, within the revenue constraints imposed by state mandates, economic conditions, and prevailing attitudes about taxation. Please note the fire exits behind you and to your right, my left. At this time, I would ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Councilman Sandhusen. Present. Councilman Sarofty Hurley.
Present.
Council President Duffy.
Here.
Councilman Grodzki. Councilman Seymour.
Here.
Councilwoman Grant.
Here.
Mayor Petrino.
Here. Okay. So our first item of business tonight is some presentations. And before we start that, we gotta do it right. So, I gotta wear the shirt. Here we go. Okay. So the first we're going to start with is the 7th grade girls team. Their head coach is Jasmine Rosa. Is the head coach here? Come on up. Is there anything you'd like to say about your team this year?
Oh, sure. Hello, everybody. I'm Jasmine Rosa. This was my first year getting involved in New Milford sports, and I really enjoyed working with the 7th grade girls team. I mean, I've coached for about 10 years, and just right off the bat, like, these ladies have, like, showed up and gave me 110% from the beginning. So I could not have asked for a better group. So thank you girls for all your effort. You made my job a lot very, very easy. And they worked so hard and they won the whole thing. So I was so proud of them. So good job to you.
Okay, as I call your name, please come up, get your certificate, and you got to line up right over there so we can take your picture. You're first, come on. Flag. Casey. Elizabeth Miller. Adriana Agnew. Gabrielle Alti. Needham Morris. McKenna Biggins. Messiah Harisha. Mackenzie Dennis. and Layla Carruthers.
And I love it so much.
Congratulations, ladies. Okay, next up is going to be the 8th grade girls team. Head coach Ricardo Smalls, assistant coaches Isaiah Smalls and Lindsay Davis. Say something.
When this season started, I have coached basketball in this town for a number of years, and I always boys teams. And Coach Dan pulled me out of retirement, and he gave me a girls team. And I know my niece, and I said, I don't want a girls team. But I have grown to love you guys more than I love all the boys. You know what they say. Girls rule, and boys. The team, I'm really proud of you guys. When we started, you know how good you were, right? Right, exactly. But you guys really, really work. And I know you got tired of me saying, to the baseline. It pays to be a winner. Pay attention to the details. Right? Right. So I'm really proud of the hard work you put in. You guys really came together as a team. You encourage each other. And that's how it's going to be in life, right? You have to push someone else, and you have to be able to let someone encourage you and push you. And so I hope that you learn some life lessons during the season, right? But you know you can do it, but you know you guys are the best in the county, right? Who be the big dog? All right.
Well said, Coach. Stephanie Alpar. Vanessa Arick. Gabriella Beckus. Sarah Adi. Aaliyah Lavender. Purple Power. Leila Castillo. Victoria Brown. Abigail Getnet. Messiah Harisha. And Casey, again. Congratulations. Okay, last but not least, 8th grade boys. Coach Calderon, come on down. Assistant coaches, Lylan Calderon, Brian Johnson, and Joe Stancato.
My boys are not used to me having such trouble enunciating that I've lost my voice, but I'm going to rally just for them. I started coaching these boys in the 4th grade, and the first time that they were in a game, I watched them and I was like, wow, they're terrible. They're awful. But all kidding aside, they worked really, really hard every day, every practice, every game. They drove me crazy from 4th grade on to 8th grade. But I asked a lot of them all the time. I asked a lot of the parents all the time. And every time I asked them, they answered. So they went from, one of the lower divisions and then up again and up again and up again. And in fact, when we won the championship 4 out of 5 years. But I can tell you that it was through multiple levels. And this year, we ended up in Arnhem. And originally, it's the highest flight. And originally, they didn't want us in that flight. The league said no. And I said, you know what? I think my boys belong in this flight. It's the best flight for them. It's the best competition. And he said, you know what? I'm just gonna, I'm gonna put you guys in, but I'm just gonna tell you, it would be easier for you if you were in a lower flight. And I said, you know what? I guarantee you that given the best competition, putting my kids on that floor, they can beat anyone. And that's exactly what they did. It was almost fitting that our last game was probably the most stressful game that I've ever coached. We were ahead in that game for 30 seconds, and it was not consecutive. But at the end of the day, the score line that mattered was when those zeros went up and we were there. So I'm so proud of them for all the work they put in all these years. I'm so grateful to all the parents that have supported us through this because we couldn't have done it without them. So thank you.
Alex Stuckey. Daniel Lorenzo. Ethan Sadera. Joseph Stancato. Jake Johnson. Luke Johnson. Brian Porter. Joseph Gugliata. Brian Camacho. And Benjamin Calderon. Well, your turn, Lionel. I'll give you, if you want to exit, now is the time, otherwise you have to stay for the remainder of the meeting. Congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
Not kidding. Can you warm us up a little bit? Yeah, I know. I'm going to turn it up. Very good job in getting his coat. He was a gentleman. Yeah. Same thing.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is appointments. Can I get a motion to appoint Jeffrey Foster to the Library Board of Trustees?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations and thank you, Jeff, for your service. And may I get a motion to appoint Linda Garrity to the Rent Leveling Board alternate position?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, Linda, and Linda, thank you for your service. Under unfinished business, may I get approval of the minutes from the May 9th, 2022 work session meeting?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There is one ordinance up for adoption tonight, and that would be 2022:14. And when the clerk has the opportunity, I would ask you to please read the ordinance.
Capital ordinance to appropriate the sum of $170,000 for the installation of lighting at the Sutton Place Tennis Courts in, by, and for the Bergen and Milford in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, and providing that such sum so appropriated shall be raised from a county grant and from the Open Space Trust Fund of the borough.
So this ordinance is the lights at Sutton Place, which we have been waiting for a long time. The split is Bergen County $66,825, and the Milford's portion will be $103,175. At this time, I would ask for a motion to open to the public for a public hearing on this ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ladies and gentlemen of the public, if anyone has any questions about this ordinance regarding the lights at Sutton Place Tennis Courts, now is your opportunity. Seeing that there's no member of the public who wishes to ask a question, I would ask for a motion to close to the public.
So. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? May I get a motion to adopt this ordinance on its final reading?
So moved. Second.
May I get a roll call, please?
Councilman Samuelson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Saraki Hurley.
Yes.
Council President Duffy.
Yes.
Councilman Seymour.
Yes.
Councilwoman Grant.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to new business. Item number 1 is Flood Advisory Committee. At our last council meeting, we were talking to residents, and I was entertaining the notion of starting a Flood Advisory Committee. In the last 2 weeks, I've been doing research. I've been looking at other towns, and I do have some information that I am going to bring to our next meeting. I'm going to ask for the creation of such committee. In the next 2 weeks, I'll be having conversations with our borough attorney, the administrator, and our DPW director, who's also involved with our flood mitigation. So I'll have a proposal in place for everyone to take a look at, and we can discuss, and we can hopefully get it going.
So that will be at our work session.
Work session for discussion, correct. It's taking a little time because I want it to be meaningful, and I want it to work, and I want it to, be important for the residents as well as beneficial to our borough. Any questions before the next meeting, before I present something? Okay. Item number 2 is scheduled updates. I almost read the basketball roster again, so let's get that out of the way. Okay, Monday, May 30th is our annual Memorial Day Parade. We are very excited that the parade is back. It is sponsored by the New Milford Public Events Committee. It will have some elements of our 100th anniversary, so it'll have a little extra flair, some extra vehicles, some extra horses, some extra police officers, so we're very excited about that. It will start at 9 a.m. The lineup for the parade will be in the parking lot across from the Senior Center by the Wells Fargo. So that is the new municipal lot next to Knights Field. That is going to be the lineup. The parade will start at 9. It will proceed down River Road through its traditional route. It makes the bend on Trenton Street, goes back to River Road, and will end at the Borough Hall, where immediately following will be our ceremony and dedication of wreaths. After the parade, there will be a small memorial and placing of flags in the French Huguenot Cemetery. On Wednesday, June 8th, New Milford's Hall of Fame dinner, our first one. It's sponsored by the New Milford 100th Anniversary Committee. It will be from 6:30 to 10:30 p.m. at Sanzari's New Bridge Inn. It is a rain or shine event. Tickets are still for sale. You can go to the borough website at www.newmilfordborough.com, that's B-O-R-O, and click on the 100th Anniversary link, and you'll see the order form for tickets. Tickets are $100 each. They are limited, so get them while you can. On Sunday, June 12th, we're going to have the Knights Field ribbon cutting and opening game. It is sponsored by New Milford Recreation. The time is still to be determined. I think it's going to be a late afternoon/evening game, and it'll be at Knights Field, which is the new softball field, which is right on Chiquino Drive. And on Saturday, July 2nd, is New Milford Day, sponsored by New Milford 100th Anniversary Committee. The time is to be determined, but it's roughly going to be 3 to 9 p.m., where at 9 p.m. we will have fireworks. All of this will take place behind the Borough Hall, and it'll include bouncy houses, it'll include a beer garden, it'll include food trucks, and whatever else we can throw in there. So it's going to be a great day for our 100th, and it's going to be an awesome New Milford Day, especially with the fireworks.
Will there be a dunk tank?
I don't know if there's going to be a dunk tank yet, but if there is, I'm more than happy to get in and do my part.
Just checking.
The rain date for New Milford Day will be July 9th. Is there any other events that are coming up that I failed to mention?
Yes, Mayor, I would just like to, again, just mention that it's truly an honor to inform this council that, as everyone is aware, in 2019, the borough, in partnership with the police department and the school district and the Board of Education, started the New Milford Domestic Violence Awareness Symposium. For the first time, the county has modeled a program in the northern part of Bergen County after the New Milford Symposium, which I'm privileged that they have asked me to organize and will be moderating, which will be tomorrow evening at Ramapo College at 6 p.m. So we're certainly continue to be humbled, as well as obviously encouraged by the progress we're making, and our panel has already started to brainstorm this fall's symposium for New Milford.
I think that's great. I think it's great that they saw what was conceived here and are now taking other places to spread awareness. I think that's wonderful.
I have an event as well. The Arts Amble, the second annual Arts Amble, is taking place on June 10th, 11th, and 12th. The library is participating because it has a sculpture garden that will be listed. Also, the Art Center of Northern New Jersey is participating, and there will be events throughout the county.
Thank you. Anything else?
Just one thing I wanted to add to the July 2nd. We're supposed to have Borough Hall our chairperson has a company called Mad Scientist, which is for kids. So they're going to set something up for the kids to attend, and of course, everything is free. It should be pretty interesting.
Cool. Yeah,
Who's doing that?
I'm sorry?
Who's doing that?
Adelina Gabriel, the chairperson, to stick with free.
Stigma.
Oh, I thought you were referring to the children's birthday party for New Milford that will be held at the library on June 8th.
Yeah, no.
I thought you were calling me a mad scientist, so see, we all heard different things. This is great.
Well, some of those outfits, possibly.
More to come.
Yeah, I know.
Any other events? Okay, we can move on to the administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Earlier today, I had sent out an email to the Mayor and Council asking for a motion to add a resolution to tonight's agenda to authorize a closed session, which would take place after we complete our public session tonight, after which we would not take any further action. So I was just wondering if somebody would be willing to offer that motion.
I offer the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that will be resolution 2022:257. Closed session.
Okay. Letters went out on May 12th to the eligible homeowners with registration information for the FEMA Flood Mitigation Assistance Grant Informational Meeting, which is going to be held virtually on June 6th. As of Friday, we had 22 people registered to attend so far. The engineering report, Knights Field, the final restoration for the seated area was completed the week of April 25th. The cracked concrete path was repaired and the light fixture was replaced. There's a change order for some additional work that's been done that's under review by the engineer. The Knights Field Pavilion, the delivery unfortunately continues to inch its way back. It's currently scheduled to be delivered the week of July 11th. We're going to be doing the site work prior to the delivery, and that's currently scheduled for mid-June. The Madison Avenue Sidewalk Project, we had the second round of county comments reviewed, and the plans are being revised. A second request for an extension has been submitted to the DOT, and we're looking at a possible bid date in October, and that is pending NJDEP review and permits. The New Jersey DOT Culvert Project, the design is complete. We're waiting on signatures from the DEP and private property owners that are pending, and we're anticipating a bid date in September, and that is also pending DEP review and permits. The Kennedy Field bench covers, there's been no change. The construction is still scheduled for the end of July, early August, following the spring sports conclusion. Sutton Place Tennis Court lighting, the design is complete. We are purchasing the lights through a cooperative, and we're looking at an anticipated construction start in August. The Pacific Street Improvement Project, Reichel to Fowler. The project was awarded at our last meeting on May 9th, and we're looking at an anticipated construction start sometime in June. Graphic Boulevard Improvement Project, Chestnut to Birch. That project was also awarded at our May 9th meeting, and we're anticipating a construction start date in June. The Warren Park ADA improvements, the layout plan was approved. Construction is scheduled to be completed by the end of May, and that would be weather permitting. The Graphic Boulevard signalization project, the design has been authorized. The survey work is scheduled for May and June, and we're looking at an anticipated bid date of October. That's it for the engineering report. An issue that I spoke with the attorney with last week is that we're having a little bit of an issue getting compliance for the JIF required annual cybersecurity training from some of our board members, and it is required for anyone with an email address. So the attorney has advised that I should send out a final notice to everybody who hasn't completed it, that they must complete the training by June 1st, and if they fail to do so, notify them that their borough email box will be disabled. The attorney had said that, the failure to comply can result in adverse consequences to the borough. So if we if we put in that situation and they're forced to use their personal email box, they need to be aware that their personal email box is subject to Oprah if used for borough business.
Chris, is there also a fine? I had thought there was a fine.
That's for the financial disclosure.
Oh, okay, thank you.
On that, we have just 2 people who have not, and we've sent them the information about that. So right now, I have 5 people on the zoning board, 4 people on the planning board, and 4 people on the rent leveling board who haven't completed the training. And it's not because we haven't asked them to do so.
This is cybersecurity training.
Yes, which is a JIF requirement. The primary election is coming up on Tuesday, June 7th. Polls are open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Borough Hall is going to be closed next Monday, May 30th, in observance of Memorial Day. And our next meeting is a public session it's actually a work session, held in person 3 weeks from tonight. It's not 2 weeks, it's 3 weeks because of the way the calendar falls, and it's for Monday, June 13th. That's it for me, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions about the administrator's report? Okay. Everyone has had a chance to look at the resolutions. Are there any that need to be pulled for further discussion or vote? May I get a motion to file council committee reports with the borough clerk to be spread in full upon the minutes?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, let's go around real quick. We're going to start with Councilwoman Grant.
Ooh. I only have one thing to mention today, and that the library board of trustees elected Armini Urena to be its new vice president. That's it for me tonight.
Excellent. Councilman Seymour.
Mayor, I'd like to thank the Stigma Free Committee and the Municipal Alliance for again working together to present another fantastic Wellness Day event. I think it's so important that this town and this community come together to support not only those in recovery, but also those who are battling mental health issues. So I really thank those committees. They worked very hard, and they poured their heart into it. There was a lot of passion, and it was very well attended, and I thought it was a great day.
It was. Thank you.
Good weather.
Great weather.
Yeah. Council President Duffy.
Thank you, Mayor. My focus is twofold. I encourage members of the public to attend our Memorial Day parade this year. The Public Events Committee does an incredible job putting it all together, and I'm excited to be participating in it. And the second thing, of course, is our first Hall of Fame dinner, sponsored by the 100th Anniversary Committee. And I also encourage everyone here tonight, let's see your tickets come in, and let's all attend, have it a full house. And I have it on good authority that Ed Marinaro will be in attendance that evening, so that's pretty exciting. So I encourage all to attend a very special night for New Milford. That's it.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you. Councilwoman Siraki Hurley.
Thank you, Mayor. I think the only thing I really want to add to is this year in the parade. If you remember Memorial Day, we always have the posters of the veterans from World War II, their photos that we've always put on the Borough Hall property. So now this year they're going to be marching in the parade. Either Boy Scouts are going to hold these posters or the Girl Scouts. So when people see the names, they're going to say, oh, Fowler Drive, I didn't know that was a person. So that's kind of interesting. I think we're also going to have some motorcycles in the parade this year, so that's pretty cool. And that's about it. Everything else has been pretty much mentioned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Sandy.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a fun report today. I got to deliver a $10,000 check to the borough administrator. It was my honor and pleasure to represent New Milford at the Sustainable Jersey PSE&G Grant Award Ceremony today at TCNJ down in Ewing, the College of New Jersey. So the Environmental Commission will be working on creating an environmental resource inventory. That's what the total is a $20,000 grant award. So in case people don't know what an environmental resource inventory is, it's a inventory of natural and historic landmarks in the borough, and will assist the multiple organizations within the borough with planning. So the Environmental Commission has plans for partnerships with the Hackensack Riverkeeper, the Bergen County Audubon Society, and the New Milford School District. So more information will be coming in the future about special data collection events and that the public will be able to participate in. So more on that, so congratulations and thank you to everyone for your support with that. And also I have been invited to be part of a panel for the Sustainable Jersey Sustainability Summit. I'll be a panelist talking about the technical assistance and energy tracking initiative that New Milford is part of, and sharing the borough's experience with parties there. So the summit is June 24th from 8 to 4 p.m. Members of the public are invited to attend, and it will be held in Homedale, New Jersey. So I'll be honored to represent New Milford on the panel for that as well. So thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you. I don't have any updates, but I just wanted to mention that last week was National Police Week, and I just wanted to recognize the New Milford Police Department for the wonderful job that they continue to do in our town.
Thank you.
Okay. At this time, may I get a motion to open to the public?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ladies and gentlemen of the public, if anyone has any comments, we ask that you just please come up to the microphone, give us your name and your address, and we will give you 5 minutes to discuss anything related to the borough of New Milford.
Hi, my name is Ann Lamort. This is in regard to 300 Birchwood.
Could you have your address, please?
Well, I live in Haworth, New Jersey, but my family inherited a home at 300 Birchwood, me and my 3 sisters, and we were having the inspection done on the house. I was totally unaware that there was an apron ordinance. Called the DPW because when I showed up to the appointment when it was being done, I thought that there was some graffiti on the driveway. Went inside, met the inspector. Everything was fine with the smoke detectors and the fire extinguishers. Followed through on the writing on the driveway, found out there was an apron ordinance, but there's nothing wrong with the driveway. So I came down here to Miss Lisa Sereno. She told me there was an ordinance. How do I follow up on this? Called DPW. They told me, you just have to do it. You know, it's to get your CCO. Can't move into the house without it. So I said, well, this is nothing like a fire extinguisher or a smoke detector. Those are safety things. Of course you want to have those things done. What is this about? Well, you just have to do it. Well, who do I bump this up to? I called Mr. Cahill. Turned out we emailed back and forth a couple of times, and it turns out that this is an ordinance. It's been in place for a while, and there are no exceptions to the rule. I still wanted to know, what is the purpose of an apron ordinance if there's no purpose to changing a driveway that is perfectly intact? I know I emailed all of you later, showed you pictures and the letters and wrote a letter to everybody. And again, thank you for your time. I hate to be a Debbie Downer after the whole great night with the kids, but this just makes no sense to me. And I'm having a very hard time coming to grips with this because it's an estate, and everybody says there's got to be a reason for it, but yet nobody can tell me the purpose. After I wrote the email to everybody here, Mayor Mike was kind enough to tell me. He said, this is an ordinance that's in place. It has to do with water runoff or plows. And I said, well, we don't have a problem with water on Birchwood. The water runs down the driveway into the street. There's nothing wrong with the driveway. And I've never had the luxury, your plows don't touch my driveway or my apron, town plows. And I've never had the luxury of having a plow my driveway. I shovel the driveway. So again, what's the purpose of this? And they said, well, the town just doesn't want to pay for it. And I understand that, because since this has gone on in our life since January, I've watched your meeting minutes, and I understand that every time the town is upfront with paying for something like a pothole or the volleyball court that was being installed, somebody always questioned, well, who's paying for it? And the answer was, we have a grant. And then somebody would say, oh, then we're going to do it. But who's paying for it this time? It's me. Is anybody aware of how much an apron costs to install?
Depends on the size of your driveway.
Right. Well, this is a single driveway, so I was told it's got to be rebar, 6 inches thick and 30 inches up. So back to the water runoff issue. Regardless if a driveway is macadam, gravel, concrete, wood, or bubble gum, the water is going to flow down the same way it does as if it is right now. My mother never replaced the driveway. It's just been maintained with blacktopping it and shoveling it right away. It's impeccable. So I guess I'm asking for you, because when I did email you, I said, maybe changing this ordinance, because the ordinance reads that an apron has to be constructed how you say it has to be done. New construction, replacement of the driveway, and application of a CCO. Okay? This house, it is not a sale. I inherited it. I have to buy my sister's out. Mayor Mike told me that you have never had complaints about anybody that has had to come into compliance with this. Mr. Cahill told me it is not his, and let me try see if I can get the words properly. It's not his duty to interpret the reason why they created this ordinance. It's just his job to make sure that it's abided by, and we do this. But I don't understand. Can anybody help me here? Because I want to come in compliance. I want to do this, but at the cost of this, I mean, this is crazy. And I kind of can't believe that nobody has complained about it. In my head, I just think people haven't complained because they're leaving the house. They just do what they have to do. People that are coming in have a closing date. People leaving have a closing date where they're going. They just want to do it. If it's $800 or $3,000, they're going to do it because they got to get out. That's not my circumstance. And Mayor Mike told me that we do this for everybody because we don't want to be told that we're doing this, we're going to let you get by because I like you, or you're making me do this because you don't like me. This has nothing to do with that. There is nothing wrong with this driveway, and if you revisit the email that I sent you, it had to do with ripping up and disposing of concrete, it's macadam. There's nothing wrong with it. I see a lot of driveways that are in bad shape in the neighborhood. We don't have sidewalks where I live. So I don't understand what the purpose of this apron to nowhere. And I just can't seem to bring myself to do this unless I have a purpose that is like, it's not a safety thing. The driveway's in good shape. I look around town, I see macadam 6 inches, rebar, which I don't know why rebar down there. We're not driving trucks over the driveway. So I just wanted to bring this to light because nobody has complained about this before. I think it was just, they're leaving, they're out of here. But I'm not leaving, I'm coming. Even though I've been in and out of that house since 2006 when my mother bought that house. I'm having a very hard time coming to grips with it. And I don't believe I'm the first one, because when I went back to see Lisa Serrano, I said, I'm still waiting to see what I could do about this. She goes, well, we have this paper here that, the person coming in and the person leaving, you can kind of do this paper and you share the expense of it, but that's still me. So that paper had to be generated by a problem, because paperwork just doesn't get generated by not having a problem. So I think that's pretty much all I have to say, and I hate to have to bring this to you, but I want to come into compliance. I can't have a perfectly good driveway torn up for no good reason or purpose. Can anybody help me?
Any comments on the ordinance?
Well, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, and Mr. Moore, the ordinance has been in place for, I believe, over a decade. My understanding of it is the intention is to bring the homes into compliance, there is a requirement for an apron. That's what is required. The fact that it was not required previously was there was no triggering event. What prior governing bodies determined would be required would be a triggering event. You can't just tell someone to have your sidewalk. The triggering event that was determined to be the most appropriate was upon the application for a CCO, when there's a change in ownership. It's going from an estate prior owner, as I understand it, from what you just
My
said.
mother.
Your mom, I'm sorry to hear that. And you're now going to be the buyer from the estate, so that's a sale.
From my sisters.
Okay, it's still a sale, whether it's your sister's family to family or not, it's a sale, and that triggers the requirement for an apron to be installed.
But what's the purpose of the apron?
The apron, the borough determined years ago that there's supposed to be aprons there. They don't want to have macadam aprons. At some point, there may be sidewalks in your neighborhood. The intention is to have sidewalks and aprons to match at whatever future date.
But there may never be sidewalks, so what are we doing in apron? Like Mayor Mike had told me, he said, you know, if there are potholes in the street, we're going to repair the street. I said, but there are no potholes in the street. The street's in perfectly good shape. The water's going to flow down. He goes, we're not going to repair the street. There's nothing wrong with it. I said, then why do I have to put an apron where there's nothing wrong with the driveway? This seems like it's...
What the law requires.
But there's no, Mayor Mike said every town has an apron ordinance. I went around, I looked at almost every town. I even went as far as Manasquan. And nobody has an apron ordinance in regard to CCO application.
That's not true.
I beg to differ.
I didn't do every single
I was
town.
going to say, I rattled off a number of towns that do have it, because I looked for you, because I drove by your house and I understood. I saw your driveway, and I was trying to show you why other towns are doing it as well, not just in the Milford thing.
But not upon CCO application, because like I went surrounding towns. Some don't even say what you have to have. A lot of the driveway ordinances are how far they have to be away, how wide they can be, you know, what they can be constructed of. But as far as the apron ordinance for CCO application, I mean, I could see if there was something wrong with the driveway, if it needed repair. I could understand that, and I could come to grips with that. But I'm having a very hard time coming to grips with ripping up where nothing is wrong with it. And again, I believe everybody here is very conscious of money, because every time I hear you're protecting our money in our town that we pay our taxes for, who's paying for it? Oh, we have a grant. Who's paying for it? Oh, this one's paying for it. Well, I'm paying for this, and I know that you would hate to see me pay this kind of money, to have something ripped up where there's nothing wrong with it.
Unfortunately, that's what the ordinance requires.
And it has to go on record that I am complaining about this, and I do not believe that anybody else has not complained about it. I believe they haven't come this far because it's taken me this long to come to a town council meeting. But I have been listening, and I have been watching, and I have been reading your minutes and the ordinances. And I did look around to the different towns, and nobody takes it to this extent.
Again, I beg to differ. I don't want to argue with you. I know it happens both in Milford and other towns. Having done closings in this county for 30 years, it's not uncommon. It does happen. It's not just aprons, there's also sidewalks. The only reason you weren't required to put in a sidewalk is that's not currently, well, I shouldn't say currently, that's not required under the ordinance. But there are homeowners that are required to replace sidewalks, and cracked sidewalks.
That's a safety thing.
Sometimes it's a safety thing, sometimes it's an aesthetic thing, because there is no safety issue at the time of the application for the CCO.
Talking about aesthetics, this driveway is black. It totally leads back to the driveway. It's just going to be aesthetically unpleasing, which I know nobody cares about but me, because I'll be the one living there. But to tear something up, that something is wrong with it, it just goes against every grain in my body, beyond the money. Because even if you were paying for it, which I know you're not, I'm not asking you to pay for it, and I'm not looking for this just to be me, because I think it was also talked about, this isn't going to be changed just for you. It's not just for me. It's for every single person that would have to shell this money out when they're probably using the money that they're getting for their hard-earned home that they paid for. And now, and I know, because somebody in the neighborhood got a price to have their driveway redone, and their driveway is in horrible shape. It's a $2,000 difference to have that concrete apron opposed to just the macadam straight down to the street. $2,000 difference. I can't believe that you would want your taxpayers to spend money on something where there's nothing wrong with it. And you know what, like, I'm ready to say to my sisters, I'm doing this for them because I just am done with this. But I know if you were paying for this, if it were your decision, this is an ordinance, it's got to be done, we're going to pay for it, you wouldn't be paying for it. Because I've seen your minutes. It's always through grants and everything, and that's with just an honest thing in my heart that I know you wouldn't. And me as an individual is going to have to shell this out. And I know what you're telling me. We didn't send you the email because...
I've seen the email.
Okay.
It was forwarded by the administrator. So
Okay.
I'm aware of it, and unfortunately it's what the law is. And other people have complied with the law. The governing body is required to comply with the law. We can't make an exception for any resident that's contrary to what the law is. And
But it's a law that you make, right? Because this is a town ordinance.
it's a law that's currently on the books, and it has been on the books for, I'm told, in excess of 10 years. So it's been on the books. It was passed by a prior governing body, and there hasn't been any appeal of it, any challenge to it. It is a valid law. It was, if an appeal or a challenge was going to be done, it would have to been done 45 days from the date of adoption. That was never done. It's a valid law. It's been complied with, and it's a law of the borough of Milford.
Mm-hmm.
I understand you vehemently disagree with it, but there are other residents that have complied with it.
I know. Obviously, because all I do now is look at people's aprons on their driveway. That's all I do. Look, they got it. Look, they don't have it. What town am I in? You know, and then I look up the town when I get home.
Some don't have it. It has come up. It has come up in my practice, in my private practice. I've had people with the same complaint. And so it's what the law is. The agreement that you referenced is for facilitating an escrow or an agreement to install the sidewalk. It's not just limited to aprons. It's sidewalks and aprons when the weather doesn't permit. So we won't hold up a closing for something that the closing is done. As long as someone will be responsible for the breaks and cementing the field. And I understand your position, unfortunately, that is the law.
It is, but you're the people that can kind of change this for your taxpayers.
Best the governing body can do is take it under advisement.
Which means what?
Consider it. They may consider changing law, they may consider not changing it. But that would take...
Case-to-case basis, because there's nothing wrong.
It's not going to be a case-by-case basis.
I mean, and I hate to point to you individually, but if you were selling your home and somebody said, you can't sell that home, you have to paint your grass purple. You would say, well, that's a silly thing. It's going to look horrible, and although that's not going to cost you a lot of money. But still, there's no point to it. There's no point. And that's as shocked as I was when I found out what that 30 inches painted on the driveway meant, because I had no idea. You know, the paper that you get that says what you have to do for your inspection, I think it talked about a sidewalk. And I didn't read it because I don't have a sidewalk. But again, you know, things are usually made for safety purposes and to keep law in order, and this is none of that. It's just kind of like an ordinance that has no purpose.
Again, agree to disagree on that. I understand the position. Fortunately, it's the law at this time. I don't have a better answer for you, and I don't have an answer that you're going to be satisfied with unless it's, you don't have to put in the apron, but that's what the law is.
That term, put in an apron, just seems like there's already macadam there that is in flow with the driveway.
I've heard your argument. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else to tell you. There's nothing else we can do at this time.
Well, I'm going to find out what other town has this ordinance, because I'm going to know if they enforce it this way. And
You're welcome to do that.
yeah,
It's irrelevant to whatever other towns have it. This is what the Milford has.
I know. I don't understand it, and it just, even though it's an ordinance in your town, it just doesn't make any sense.
respect your opinion on that. I understand that you can't advocate.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. May I get a motion to close to the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? May I get a motion to adopt resolutions 2022:252 to 2022:257?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there any other business before this council?
What we're going to close?
If not, I'd ask for a motion to go into closed session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ladies and gentlemen, we will be moving into closed session. Immediately following, we will adjourn the meeting. We will take no action. So we wish you a great night, and come to the Memorial Day Parade. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.
I took this by accident.